Welcome to Vibin with Ashley Live. I'm your host, Ashley Live. Tonight is episode 71. I'm really excited for tonight. I have the beautiful and talented Caroline Reilly who will be joining me. She's a singer, songwriter, guitarist, pianist, and she was on season 17 of NBC's hit show The Voice. She's performed as a solo artist as well as in rock cover bands all over Georgia. And her latest single, Best of Me, was released in March. So I'm really excited to bring Caroline in the room. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend. Where are you guys tuning in from tonight? And happy May. Today's the first day of May. So kind of like the NSYNC song, It's Gonna Be May. Well, it is May. So, and it's cold here. That's why I'm wearing a sweater. So, yeah, we're going to hang tight, wait for Caroline to hop in the room. Caroline just joined us. So whenever you're ready, girl, hop on in. Caroline!
Hi!
How is your night going?
It's going great so far. How's yours going?
It's going well. Thanks for spending your Saturday evening with me. You could have been anywhere, but here you are with me.
Here I am. I honestly can't think of a better way to spend it right now. I'm having so much fun.
So I just want to say thank you for providing us with music during this quarantine. You're always posting music on your Instagram. I love it.
Yeah, all the time. Of course. Music is everything. So I just post. I love when people look at them and just comment on them. It makes me so happy. I try to do songs that are, I try to do like 70s, 80s, 90s tunes so that people, from all ages can relate to it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You do current stuff, but you also do stuff from like the 60s and 70s. I love that your palette of music is so diverse. Like, I love that about you as a musician.
Yes, thank you so much. I've played in so many bands and I've done so many covers. It's like I've had so much to learn, but I've also like had time to fall in love with the music from so long ago. And it's like I just can't stop listening to it. Nowadays I just love listening to everything. But back then, when I was doing cover bands, I just was constantly getting new material and just learning about new artists.
Yeah, I love it. That's so amazing. So I actually start each show with a song lyric, and I wanted to share a song that's very near and dear to your heart. Just get your take on it and what this song means to you. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is from Fire and Rain by James Taylor, 1970. I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend, but I always thought I'd see you again.
I love that song, first off. One of my favorites.
I know.
Yeah. I know. I think behind the song was his girlfriend or significant other had passed away in a plane crash. And I just like, those lyrics are so beautiful. Like you can tell he was like being so vulnerable with those lyrics when he was writing it. And the chorus line is just beautiful. The one you just said, I love it. And just such beautiful melodies too in that song. He just really, really put everything into it. I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I listen to that song whenever I'm like feeling, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Not ungrateful, but like, I'm just kind of like feeling like, oh, everything's just, not going my way or whatever. And I love listening to those lyrics in the song because it makes me feel like things could be worse, and that he just showed the beauty through that, like the beauty through such a horrible experience he showed in those lyrics and with his melodies. So that's kind of the take, what I take from the song.
Yeah, I think it's such an incredible song. Like when I hear it, it's such a simple song, but
it is.
You hear his songwriting capabilities and you're like, wow, that's insane.
It is insane. So, I write all the time. I try to write, but like people that are like that write all the time and are constantly releasing music, I'm just like, how talented, like just to be able to put something like that together and make it beautiful. Like people that write beautiful music. I just don't know. I don't know how they do it. It's spectacular. And yeah. I completely agree with you.
So bring us back to childhood when this all got started. Who inspired you to get into music and how old were you?
Oh my goodness. So my mom was always, singing, playing piano. My dad and I always just listened to music. Music was the way I connected with my family. Not particularly playing, but just being in the car, singing along to music, whatever. And I just always loved to sing. And we would, my grandparents had the game, I don't know if you remember, but on like the Wii or like PS whatever, they had like American Idol and stuff. Like they had the game versions of the shows. My grandparents had that at their house, and I would be constantly like, can I play the game? Can I play that? I want to sing. And I would always just be wanting to play the singing competition games. And that's kind of when I found out I loved singing and just wanted to do that for a while. And then I got into musical theater when I was about 12 or so, 11. And I started playing in bands and moving away from musical theater and more into the music industry, this area of it, when I was around 13.
Awesome. I love that you started like within your family, like your parents. I think it's so incredible when your parents bring you so many incredible albums and music. They're like, well, this is what I like to listen to, or this is what I listened to when I was 20, and then they share it with their kids. I think that's such a magical thing.
Yes, I know. It is. It's beautiful. I mean, there are families that are like 100% musical family, like everybody's playing an instrument, they family band, all that. It wasn't particularly my family, but everybody in my family loved music, and that is just, it's truly beautiful to be able to share music with family.
Yeah, it's so cool. How would you describe the music that you create?
The music I create? Well, I found that I found that my music, it depends on what I'm writing about and what happens in production afterward. My first song I released was more acoustic, kind of like pop acoustic sounding. And then the second song I wrote was more like, was a little more low key, like rock sounding, a little more alternative. Right. And so I feel like it just depends on the song for me. And I feel like now we're in a time where you can just release music and it can sound like whatever, and everybody's just happy to hear your music and whatever genre it sounds like, which is so cool about today. It's not like you have to stick to this pop or this R&B sound or this rock sound. It's like everybody's just releasing whatever, and I just feel that that's so cool, especially in this industry. But yeah, I'd say mainly what it sounds like right now is a little more pop with hints of rock in it.
And how would you describe your creative process?
Okay, so my creative process is usually the same, but again, it depends. But typically I write the melody and chord progressions first when it comes to writing my music, and then I will add lyrics after I have a melody and after I have my chords down. I'm like, all right, let's think of some lyrics that would just sound emotional on top of this, or if I'm just feeling it, if it's just something I'm feeling, I'll just write a bunch of stuff down, a bunch of lyrics, and I'll just sift through them and see what works. Yeah.
So do you write down your lyrics? Do you voice memo your lyrics? Like, what does that look like?
So I like to write my lyrics down on like old school, like piece of paper, like pencil. I like to write it down because it sinks in my mind better when I write it. And also it really adds more meaning to the lyrics for me, because once I write it down, I can actually like read it out loud or like read it on paper and say, does this make sense? Does this not make sense? Does it have to make sense? Just all those things I'm able to process once I write it down.
Yeah. And I think when you write stuff down, it's like more powerful. Like they say, want something to happen in your life to write it down.
Yeah.
Because then you can always refer back to it and just be like, oh, I wrote this 2 weeks ago and I still want this to happen. But if it's like kind of in your head and it's just, because I know some people that sometimes they'll just start playing something on the piano and then lyrics will just come to them, but they don't write it down. So I'm very intrigued by people's creative process and how songs are actually written.
I know, me too. I love asking other artists how they write their music, because I'm like, you know what? I have my own way, but there are a million different ways you could write your own music. So I'm just like, I'm always interested to see people's creative process. It's just very unique to everyone.
So I want to talk to you about your time performing rock cover bands. How did that shape your musical journey?
Well, I will tell you, it really turned me around from what I was doing, which was musical theater. I don't remember how it started. I think it was a few people I had met. We just started a band, and they're like, oh yeah, so we would love for you to come sing with us. We do classic rock. And I was like, classic rock? Okay. I mean, I've heard maybe a few songs from my dad, but like, I don't know. And so they gave me this list of songs. I'm like, oh my gosh, all right, I'll learn all these. I ended up falling in love with the music, and I was just like, this music is great. And I really took it to heart because it's just different. I'd never heard anything like it before. But yeah, when I started playing in cover bands, I did a lot of classic rock, and we performed all around Georgia, really, just wherever we could. It was so fun. But yeah, it definitely turned me around from musical theater. Then I began performing in bands, performing solo, like as a musician. I was out of musical theater by that time. By the time I was like almost 14, I was kind of out of musical theater and more into the band scene.
Mm-hmm. That's cool that you had that band experience at such a young age, because I know people that like are 40 and 50 and they're like, yeah, I'm just gonna start like a band with my friends. But for you to kind of just go to musical theater and then do classic rock cover bands, I think that's so cool, because like you said, you were introduced to such an incredible genre of music. You're like, yeah, I kind of don't know any of these songs, but I love them.
I know, that's literally how it was. And yeah, totally. I was like, I feel so, especially now, I'll be 18 in just a couple weeks. But I just look back and I'm like, I'm so glad I got that experience so young, because it's like, I got to be performing with bands when I was like 13, 14, going to shows, learning how the industry works at a super young age, because like there are people I know that are like a lot older, like maybe late 20s, early 30s, just learning how the industry works. I feel so lucky that I got to have that experience so young.
Yeah. Happy early birthday, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Are you doing anything exciting for your birthday?
Probably music and spending time with family, and music and family music, all that fun stuff.
Oh, that's so sweet. And yes, when you said you've been in the music industry, been performing since 13, it's kind of like going to high school, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, completely.
Kind of high school. Like just throwing yourself into music venues.
I know, it really is. I mean, the music industry, especially in this area in specific, with people so young, like around my age, it's like everybody knows each other. We all know each other. Everybody knows who's in the circle. We've all met or heard of each other. So right. It's like high school. It's like, oh, I know that. Oh, hey, what's up? You know, it's great seeing you. I saw your gig, whatever. And you're constantly learning too. It's like, it is. It's just like high school, but a different side of it, the music side of it.
Yeah, that's so cool. I haven't really talked to many people that started at such a young age, because a lot of people, like I said, start at 16, maybe start at 20, 30, 40. But like you have all that experience with venues and classic rock and going and meeting the booking agent. And, you know, it's just a different kind of life experience, if you will.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, I don't know how I would have really grown as an artist if I had started later. I mean, I just don't know. I just know that I feel fortunate to have started so young, but I don't know. I don't know how I would have developed as an artist, if it had been later, even like 16, even 15. Yeah. I mean, that just like, I just turned like 13. I just became a teenager and I started doing all this stuff. So it was like, just crazy, amazing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that. So you've covered songs by Tom Petty, Billie Eilish, Red Hot Chili Peppers, countless others. What's your favorite song to perform and why?
Well, my favorite song to perform, I'm performing tonight, which is Can't Find My Way Home by Blind Faith. It's been my favorite song to perform since, gosh, I think last year. It was actually, or maybe the year before last year, but it was actually on the list of songs that I was potentially going to sing on The Voice. So I had to learn it, and I was like, all right, let's learn this song. I don't know if I'm gonna like it. When I first heard it, it was kind of like old school acoustic. I was like, I don't know about this. And then I listened to more of it and listened to covers of it too. That's what I do. I like to listen to modern versions of older songs, and I fell in love with Can't Find My Way Home, and now it's my favorite song to perform. I love it. So yeah, that's definitely my favorite.
Oh, and I love that you said it, because that's an incredible song. And I mean, like I said, when I was doing research on you, I saw you perform all these different covers. I was like, I wonder if she likes like 90s or 70s or classic rock or Green Day, because there were all these different influences that I heard in your music. And I love that you actually just went back to basics and had Blind Faith.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, the songs I perform, especially, I like to be as diverse as possible. And you know what? Another thing too is you got to read your crowd, right? Like when you're in a venue and you notice that everybody's a little older, like more, oh, let's bring out the 70s stuff, right? Let's bring out the 70s, 60s, maybe a little bit of 80s, but not too much. Or maybe you go to a venue and you see I don't know, younger children. I will think of like TikTok songs or just something, and I'll try to throw those in there, and I know that they'll relate to that. You know, it's just a cool thing, and it's great being diverse and knowing so much music because you can adjust to your crowd or your audience.
Yeah, I think reading the crowd is extremely important because, you know, you're up there and you're like, okay, I'm going to sing Red Hot Chili Peppers. And you're like, okay, but like, is it mostly 40-year-olds or do I have like a bunch of 20-year-olds here or like 70 plus? And then you adjust and you say like, okay, what are they going to like love?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You have to be aware too, because I mean, people just love, people are going to love what you play, you know, regardless. They're going to be at a show and they're like, oh, okay, you know, but when you play something that they have a memory attached to or something from when they were younger, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I remember I was at the, you know, I don't know, on my first date when I heard that song or whatever. They're going to remember those things. And that's kind of where the happiness and joy comes from when they hear that music. And that's why it's so important to adjust to the crowd, because they'll really fall in love with you as an artist.
Yeah. And I think it's so different now because like you said, oh, like in the 80s, like I had my first car and I was going to high school and that's my memory of this song. But now it's weird because like Spotify and Apple Music and Tidal, it's like you don't really have certain music for certain periods of time because you can kind of listen to anything at any given time.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's I think that's changed the industry a lot too. I mean, yeah, because I mean there was a time when you were in the car and whatever came on the radio is what you listened to, or you'd have to wait and you'd have to record it and then you could watch it or listen to it later. It'd be a different thing. And now we have access to all these streaming platforms. It's a little different now, you know, you don't have to do that. It's really nice too. I mean, I personally love that I don't have to do that.
Yeah, you don't have to like listen to the radio and say, okay, I'm gonna put my cassette in and like record it and like not record it. Because I went through my cassettes the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, I had this cassette from when I was very young. And I'm like, nobody even knows what cassettes are anymore.
Yes, I completely understand. And I mean, as cool as it was back in the day to think about it, it's like I'm kind of low-key happy that I've got Apple Music and I can just look up and listen to.
I know. I completely aged myself while saying that, but I know that there's people in here that still have cassettes that they put in their car, in their radio. Like, I know people in this chat have that. So I know you're heavily inspired by Green Day. What about Green Day has shaped you as a musician?
So, okay, the first thing I'd like to say is that Green Day was my first band I was ever obsessed with. Mm-hmm. And everybody has an artist or a band or whatever that they were first obsessed with, and mine was Green Day. And that was when I was around, I think 13, say around that same time, was when I started listening to their music. And all their lyrics and melodies, again, just beautiful. I could tell that they all meant something. And their lyrics, I mean, it's Green Day. They're, you know, they've got some angsty lyrics. And when you're like 13, 14, 15-year-old angsty teenager, it's like, I was like, this means something to me. Like, I understand it. And so I just fell in love with their music. I just listened to all their albums, and I was just waiting for them to go on tour again, which they eventually did, and I went to go see them in concert, which was my second concert I'd ever been to, was Green Day.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so they definitely influenced my look, for sure. I mean, when I started listening to them, I saw that the lead singer, Billy Joe, was wearing a leather jacket. He looked so cool. I was like, I want to look like that. I want to look cool. And a little fun fact, too, which made my whole life, after The Voice stuff was airing and whatever, after my blind audition aired, I actually messaged the lead singer of Green Day on Instagram, and he responded, and he was like, that's so cool you're on The Voice. He goes, make sure and tell Gwen that I said hello, because they toured together at one point, and I was just, it just made my whole life. I was just like, that was everything to me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, like I think that's amazing because they were one of the first bands you were obsessed with, and then, you know, Billy Joe responded to you. Like, that's massive when a singer of that caliber recognizes.
I know. Yeah, exactly. That's how I felt. I was just shocked he responded. I remember I actually didn't see it when he responded. I went and I just checked the message. I don't know why, but I just decided to check it and I saw he was typing back. And I was like, "Oh my gosh." And and it was everything. I mean, I got to go on The Voice and meet the celebrities. You know, I met Gwen, great, Kelly, John, Blake. Everybody was so great. But, you know, that was an experience in itself. But to be away from that you know, that environment and get an actual message from a celebrity, from somebody in a band that I loved was just out of this world, just so crazy.
Oh, that's so amazing. I'm so happy that you were able to have that experience.
Yes, me too. Thank you. It was so much, it was so exciting. I still think about it every day.
You have to like screenshot of it and like you have to like get it printed and like framed on your wall.
Yes, I know. I did. I was so excited. I can't even tell you. So yeah, I think about it all the time. I still have the screenshot. I look at it daily. Just kidding, but it just makes me happy.
I love that. So what other musicians inspire you?
Oh my goodness. I mean, Green Day, of course, was my first, but I mean, I just love listening to female musicians in the rock, especially in the rock music area, because it's like there was a time when women in rock was just not accepted at all. Like men kind of dominated that area of that genre of music, and that was just what it was. And for a woman to be in rock, it was just like nobody would take you seriously, whatever. I watched this documentary with Joan Jett. She just talked about how people would throw things at her on stage. They didn't want her on stage because she was a woman. They didn't like the way she dressed because it wasn't feminine. Yeah. And it just like, I have so much respect for those artists, for those women that said, hey, I love this music and I write music like this and I'm going to go up and I'm going to sing it. And I don't care if you throw stuff at me or whatever, and I'm going to show you my music. And that just for me was ridiculously inspiring. Like, and because I can't imagine, because I'm not in a time right now where that's not accepted. I'm in a time where not everything's accepted, but a lot more is accepted. And people are free to be whoever they want and show their individuality. But there was a time when that wasn't allowed. And I just can't imagine how I would have reacted to the situation. So seeing people that were in that time and reacted so bravely, just so inspiring to me. So definitely like Joan Jett, Ann Wilson of Heart, Grace Slick, Janis Joplin, all those women back in the day that just killed it as female musicians in the rock genre.
Yeah, you had to have a thick skin, because think about it. If you were like on stage and people were like booing and saying things about you and you're like, what? And then they just powered. And then when we think about these women now and you're like monumental, legendary musicians that paved the way for everybody else.
I know. I think about it all the time. I mean, I talked about it on The Voice. They were talking about who inspired me, and I just went on about it. And they ended up airing that part of my interview, but I was just on and on about it. It's crazy. These women, you know, they walk through, and we had this path to go through, us women in the industry. Because I mean, women in the industry back then, it was like, sure, you can be a girl and do music, but you got to get your little acoustic guitar and you can play some folk music, and that's about all you can do. Like, it was just not accepted to do anything more than that. So just to see those women go up there and do hardcore music like that and say, we can do it too. I don't care what anyone thinks. Like, that's just such a hard thing to do. And yeah, just again, super inspiring.
Yeah, girl power. Give it up for female musicians who paved the way. Like,
I know, that's what I'm saying.
We have
These women went through it.
Yeah, like Shirley Manson of Garbage, Gwen Stefani, you know, just all these incredible leading front women who just powered through and just paved their own way. It's absolutely insane and incredible.
I know it is. It's crazy. Yeah.
So you've performed at venues all over Georgia. What's your favorite venue and why?
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to go back in the files and let's see. Let me think. One of my favorites is you know what? Oh my gosh, now I'm going through all the venues. I'm like, which one is my favorite? My favorite venue. Okay, so one of my favorites is 37 Main.
Mhm.
That is they're in Buford. They have a few locations here in Georgia, but the stage is I just love the stage personally. It's just a big stage, and it's just a really low key venue. I love it. I love playing there. 37 Main was one of my favorites. I played at Eddie's Attic once, which was really cool. I love the vibe of that. That's very low key acoustic vibe, just very relaxed. And I opened for a band called the Rainbow Girls. There were three women in the band. It was really cool. So definitely one of my favorite venues. But yeah, I think those two were my favorites, Eddie's Attic and 37 Main. I just love those venues.
And I love to ask people that question just because as musicians, you guys tour a lot and you see a lot of different venues. It's like, what venues do people need to check out?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's so important just because everything has been shut down because of COVID. So definitely bookmark those venues. And are they open yet, or do we not know?
I think they're open. I mean, I know 37 Main is open. I think Eddie's Attic is like limited capacity. I'm not quite sure, but I think they're open right now.
In 2019, you were on season 17 of The Voice, and for your blind audition, you sung "Somebody to Love" by Jefferson Airplane. What made you pick that song for your blind?
Okay, so another fun little story. That song was the first song I ever performed with the band, ever.
Oh, wow!
Yeah, I know, right? It was
Cool.
one of the classic rock bands I was in. They started me out with 2 songs, and the first one we learned was "Somebody to Love" by Jefferson Airplane. The second was "Proud Mary" by CCR. And so the first song I ever performed and finished and completed was "Somebody to Love" by Jefferson Airplane. And it just happened to be something I was able to choose because, I had to go through, make sure that the song was okay to perform on the show, all that. And that song was approved. And I was just like, I think I want to do that one. That song takes me back. I know it front to back. I can do it in my sleep. I've known it for so long. And I was just like, I think I want to do that one. It means a lot to me. And they ended up approving it. So I went on the show, practiced a ton. I changed things up a little bit from how I used to do it to make it a little different, a little more my own. And it just went from there. It was an amazing choice. I was so lucky that I was able to sing it on the show.
Yeah, I think you absolutely killed it. And it was so sad when I saw your audition and I was like, only one spot's available. Like, why were the other teams filled up?
I know. I did not know, actually, before I went on stage that there was only one spot left. And so when I went on stage, I was like, why is no one turning?
Right.
I was freaking out. And I shouldn't have been freaking out. I should have been like, you know what, whatever, it's fine. And that's kind of what I did halfway through. But when I first went on stage, nobody had told me. So I was just singing and I was like, no one's turning. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing horrible. I was like, I don't know. And then I just was like, forget it, I'll keep going. And I did. And then all of a sudden I saw Gwen whip around, like her ponytail was like, I don't know why I remember that, but her ponytail like whipped around. And I was freaking out a little inside, but I'm like, I gotta finish the song, And so I kept going and I finished the song. And she was just so kind after that. She came and like hugged me and we talked and she met my family. Just one of my favorite, I think almost maybe one of my favorites. I don't know if it's my favorite day of my whole life, but it was probably one of my favorite days ever.
Yeah, that's incredible because the thing is, I've talked to other people from The Voice and they don't tell you if you're first in line or like maybe the 3rd or 4th day of auditions. But when those teams fill up, they don't tell you. So it's like, they don't tell you until they see you. And they're like, oh, hey, like I would have loved to turn, but my team was full.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened with me. So yeah.
Yeah. So what was it like working with Gwen?
Well, first of all, Gwen is super down to earth. That was the main takeaway after spending so much time with her. She's just so down to earth and so willing to work with you on whatever. Yeah. Very easy to work with too. Like she gave such great advice, but like she was just always there, willing to give you advice, willing to help you with whatever you needed. Very easy to work with. And just overall, just a kind person. Like she went and talked to my family afterward and talked to us for a while at the night of the blind audition. And she went back and just said hi to my dad, my mom, my whole family, and talked to me personally. And so she like had that personal relationship too. You know, she wanted to make sure I was comfortable and that my family was comfortable. And that was just so cool. And, you know, you wouldn't expect that from a celebrity. So it was just really, really amazing.
Mm-hmm. And she was so excited to know that you were so young, because when we watched this blind audition, and it was crazy because normally we see your face like 2 to 3 seconds in, but we didn't see your face until she turned around, and people were like, well, is she young or is she like 35? Because nobody could tell.
I know. I knew, actually, I did not know till after the fact that Gwen was looking for a young artist to be on her team. I had no idea. I found it after we aired, because through watching the show, she kept saying, oh my gosh, you know, I want a young girl on my team that can sing. And then when my audition aired and when I went, I realized that I was that young girl she wanted. And it was just so cool to see that all play out on television. And, but yeah, so totally cool. It was really funny to see them guessing my age on the television, because I didn't get to see that till afterward. So seeing that was so funny. We were laughing. But yeah, that was so cool. Just so awesome.
Mm-hmm. So what is something that surprised you about your time on The Voice?
I think seeing how different the television industry is from the music industry was the biggest thing. Because you go on, you know, I'm going on The Voice, or I'm going on American Idol or whatever. You're like, oh, it must be just like, you know, whoever does this, or whoever can be, you know, whoever can do the most runs or can do this or whatever, that's who's gonna win or whatever. And that's not how it is. There's so many factors into why you win or continue to be on the show. It's not just like, you know, this artist does more runs than this one, or this. It's more than that. Genre is a huge part of it. I mean, I just imagine it is from my time on the show. Like the rock music's not super popular on television, really, for singing competitions. The pop artists and the country artists, I feel, really thrived on those television shows, like The Voice and American Idol. I just feel like those genres really resonate with people today. And the rock artists, it was a little different, you know. But yeah, that was something very interesting, was just seeing how different the television industry is from the music industry. It's not always about how good you are at singing. It's a lot of other things. Your look. Everything. So that was very interesting.
We definitely need more rock singers. American Idol, The Voice. Like, we need strong rock singers. And you're right. I feel like they do heavily have pop and country singers. And it's like, okay, but we kind of already have a lot of pop and country singers.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I realized when I was on The Voice. I'm like, there are a lot of pop and country singers. They're all fantastic, by the way. But yeah, the rock genre was just, I mean, kind of pushed away. And or just wasn't really popular among the crowd of people watching The Voice. It just wasn't. And that's okay, you know, but it was just interesting to see, because it's very different.
So what artists or genres of music have you been listening to during quarantine?
Okay, quarantine was very interesting, because I was like, I listen to rock music, classic rock, all the time. I was like, I need to start, you know, kind of branching out to some more modern genres. I'm like, you know, people my age and younger and in their 20s, they want to hear stuff a little more modern. So I was kind of branching out to Machine Gun Kelly, listening to a lot of him during quarantine. Taylor Swift was, I mean, she had like a whole thing going on during quarantine. It was crazy. Her album, she released 2 albums, and I listened to those. Those were ridiculously amazing. I'm trying to think, because I listen to so many modern artists. A lot of singles, especially TikTok songs. A lot of singles and stuff came out, and I listened to those a lot. Just kind of everything that's what's happening now. Billie Eilish. Just started to listen to a lot more artists, and it really made me feel like I knew a lot more music and a lot more. I had a lot more diversity after doing that. So yeah, you know, you gotta stay on top of the music that's going on now, as well as the music that's happened in the past. So that's kind of what I did during quarantine.
Yeah. So as far as classic rock bands and musicians, who do you usually gravitate towards, like listening wise?
Oh, that changes, but as of right now, I'm listening to a ton of 90s music. So I'd say more like I'm listening to a ton of the Cranberries right now.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Cranberries. Their music is just beautiful,
Yeah.
amazing. Listening to a ton of Third Eye Blind. I
Mm-hmm.
love Third Eye Blind. Their music's fantastic, but a ton of 90s artists. It's hard for me to list them all, but
Yeah.
I always gravitate toward 90s music. That's always been the case. But those are two bands I'm definitely listening to right now, but I listen to all sorts of 90s.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the 90s was a great time for music. It was such a good time for music. What song do you wish you wrote?
It was
And why?
amazing. I loved it.
Yeah. What song do you wish you wrote and why?
Song I wish I wrote and why? That is a really, really good question. Let me think. Wow. I think a song I wish I had written would be Yesterday by the Beatles. I love that song. First of all, I love that song. And
Yeah.
second of all, that song is just, it has so many messages in it. You don't even realize. I mean, the lyrics are beautiful, but you really listen to the lyrics and you're like, there's so many messages in here that they're giving off, right? And I'm just
Yeah.
like, it means so much. Just it's always meant a lot to me. So I'd say that one. For me, I wish I'd written that one because I feel like that would have really sunk into my heart and be like, I wrote that song, it's beautiful. So I'd say that one.
Anything from the Beatles.
I know.
Your latest single, Best of Me, was released in March. What do you want listeners to take away from this song?
I wrote that song kind of about self-love, self-image. I feel like a lot of the time, especially in the music industry or in school, being a teenager, it's hard to see, the best parts of you. And I feel like we also get into relationships in high school or whatever that, I mean, high school relationships are typical, but
Yeah.
and you're constantly trying to please other people, whether that be a relationship or people in school, friends, whatever, it doesn't matter. And it's hard to focus on yourself and be like, well, what do I want? Who am I? It's like you don't ever have time to focus on that in high school or, in your young adult years. And I feel, and that's kind of what I wrote the song about. I just wrote the song about trusting yourself and finding the best parts of you and working all that out and just kind of, but it's very realistic. It's like, I wish that I could see the best parts of me. It's not like, I will see it. It's good. It's going great. Maybe, I will, it's getting better. I'm doing better. It's not like that. It's very realistic. It's like, this is how I'm feeling right now. And I don't feel like I see this part of me. And that's kind of what I wanted to bring to listeners.
Mm-hmm. And thank you for your honesty in the song too, because when I think of high school, I was just talking to someone about this other day. I was like, I'm so happy I'm not in high school right now because we didn't have iPhones when I was back in high school. I didn't even have a cell phone. So it was like, if you were in high school and you didn't have a phone, like it would be totally different for you.
Yeah, I know. 100%. I can't imagine if I didn't have my cell phone. It's crazy because that's how people contact and interact with people now. It's just times have changed, and that's like I can't imagine not having it. It would have made things a little more miserable.
So talk to us about what's next. Do you have any live streams, singles, EP, collaborations coming up?
I am currently writing music for an EP that will be coming out hopefully at the end of summer, early fall. And I'm just so stoked for that. I'm already writing so much for it. I am also really trying to get gigs back up and running this summer. Hopefully we'll have like a ton of stuff set up so that people can come see and hear live. I'm getting a cool band up and running. So that's kind of what I have going on coming up.
Yay! So guys, stay tuned to Caroline. She has a lot of good stuff coming up this summer. What's the best advice you've ever been given?
The best advice I've ever been given, talent can only take you so far. You have to put work in.
Definitely.
Somebody told me that, and it's true. You can be very talented, and when you're young, that's great. Talent will take you very far when you're super young, but there comes a time when the people that might not be as naturally gifted as you start working harder, and they start passing you. And that was just really good advice, because I was then able to take what I've already been given and work harder, and that'll set you apart. You you always have to put work in. Talent only takes you so far.
Yeah, hard work. You have to do hard work. Like, you have to keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, because hard work literally trumps everything else.
It does. It does.
Corey wants to know, you're out of Atlanta, North Atlanta.
I'm out. I'm about 45 minutes north of Atlanta. So yeah, I'm in North Georgia. Technically, yes.
Mm-hmm. What advice would you give to musicians during this quarantine?
Collaborate, take advantage of it, because collaborating sometimes can be tough. We all come up with excuses when we're not in quarantine, like, oh my gosh, they're so far away, or I don't really want to work with people right now. We just, whatever. But I feel like in quarantine, I was really, really able to reach out to artists on social media and say, hey, why don't we do a live video together? Or, hey, why don't you write with me? We can FaceTime and songwrite. Collaborate, because it's a beautiful thing, and it's a tough skill sometimes to develop, being able to collaborate with others, to take advantage of this time. That's what I did. It's been amazing.
Yeah, and collaboration is so cool, because you're right, like, everybody was much more accessible.
Yes. Oh,
yeah. Sorry to cut you off. You know Corey Ward from season 20, yeah? Of The Voice?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
He's right now. He goes, I'm south of Atlanta, so let's collaborate. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh my gosh, Corey and Caroline, let's get this started. Woo!
Oh yeah, 100%. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Oh, she's ready, Corey. She's ready. So talk to everybody in the chat right now. Tell them where they can find you, all your social media channels. Let's plug everything.
All right. So I'm Caroline Reilly Music on everything. Yeah, I think it's Caroline Reilly Music on everything. Twitter's different. It's Caroline R Music on Twitter. But yeah, everything else is Caroline Reilly Music. Instagram, Facebook, everything. You can find me on TikTok. I'm on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all that fun stuff. So you can find me all over there. Subscribe, follow me, whatever. I'll follow you back. I'm a good one that way. I'll do that. And yeah, that's where you can find me on everything.
Awesome. So how can people watching right now support you as a musician?
Just, following on social, and just, liking posts and just keeping up with my music. I'll try and keep up with yours if you're also a musician, and just have that collaboration, because it's important. But yeah, supporting me as a musician, listening to music, my music, and just streaming it, that's so important to me. And yeah, just coming out to shows if you can, if you're in the area. I think those are the main things. Yeah.
Love it. Well, those are all the questions that I have for you, but you are going to perform for us. So take it away.
Yes. Here we go. All right, the first song I'm going to do is my cover of Can't Find My Way Home. And this one is going to be, again, this one's my favorite to perform. So I will. Come down off your throne and leave your body at home. Somebody must change. You are the reason I've been waiting so long. Somebody hold the key. Well, I'm near the end and I just ain't got the time. Whoa, I'm wasted and I can't find my way home. somebody at home. Somebody must change. You are the reason I've waited all these years. Somebody holds the key. Well, I'm near the end and I just ain't got the time. Whoa, well, I'm wasted and I can't find my way home. Ooh, oh, well, I can't find my way home. Ooh, oh, well, I can't find my way home.
That was beautiful. Thank you. And someone actually said, I need this on the radio. So if you could release that as a single, you
Oh
definitely.
yeah, 100%. I'll have to do that one as a cover. I guess my favorite. I mean, why not,
Oh,
right?
Yes, Blind Faith. That is such a beautiful song. That song actually gives me chills. So when you told me earlier you were going to play it, I was like, yes, I'm so excited.
It's a beautiful song. I'm so happy I got to play it for you guys.
Yes, thank you. And your next one?
My next one is my original. I thought I'd play it for you guys today as an acoustic version. So I hope you enjoy. I lost my one true self. Wish I was someone else. I gave it all I could. I'm so misunderstood. It's not about what you see. The curtain's closed, don't look at me. Oh, I wish that I could only see. I wish that I could only see the best parts of me. Oh, when I look at you, I fall. But when we talk, it's like I'm talking to a wall. I keep finding ways to lie. I just hope this is goodbye. I've got a lot of things to say. I know that I can't live that way. Oh, I wish that I could only see. I wish that I could only see the best parts of me. Yeah, yeah, the best parts of me. Yeah. I guess I'm not that wise. All you ever said was lies. It's not about what you see. The mirror staring back at me. Oh, I wish that I could only see. I wish that I could only see. I wish that I could only see.
Guys, give it up for Caroline. That was incredible.
Thank you.
Awesome. So guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat below.
Yes, please feel free. I will answer all the questions.
Where do you see your career in 5 years?
My career in 5 years. Well, I mean, I just got accepted to Belmont University in Nashville. So hopefully, not in 5 years, I guess. Hopefully, I'll be graduated and working on some more music for you guys. Hopefully, but that's, I just want to be an artist. I want to be touring. I want to be writing, especially collaborating, writing with other people. So I'd say that's where I want to be in about 5 years.
I love that. Very cool. It's a little bit delayed, so we're just going to wait for a couple of questions to pop up here. So yeah, so Corey was in. I don't know if Corey's still in here. He may or may not be in here, but we would love to see that collaboration. That would be phenomenal.
I know. A fun thing is my parents own a music studio actually here in Georgia. Or here in North Georgia. So 100% you could meet me at the studio. We could do something.
Oh, what instrument would you like to learn next?
Oh my goodness. 100% like drums. I don't play drums. It looks tough and I feel like I would cry, but you know what? I would love to learn drums.
Drums are so cool because it's like you look at people drumming and you're like, whoa, they look so cool and they know exactly what they're doing.
Oh, I know. They look so cool when people are drumming because I don't know how to do it. I'll see guitarists and I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with the drums. So.
Where would you like to go after COVID?
Oh my gosh. I was going to go to Europe this summer. That didn't work out. So yeah. Europe, 100%. I was going to go for my senior trip, but things happen. It's how it is. But 100%, I would love to do like a tour of Europe. Definitely go to like Spain. I want to go to Greece. I want to go to Italy. I want to go everywhere in Europe. It's beautiful. I want to see everything.
And that's the cool thing is because you see all these different cultures, but you can easily get to each country.
I know. It's amazing. That's 100%. I would love to tour Europe.
Yes, that would be so awesome. What's your favorite book?
I love reading. My favorite book, I think, has been a book called Red Rising. Mm-hmm. It's very similar to The Hunger Games, but it's like kind of more, it's like futuristic, mm-hmm. and it's like if humans were on Mars kind of deal, but it's like a lot like Hunger Games. I would say that one, mm-hmm. if you read it, it's really cool. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's my favorite.
Who would you most like to collaborate with musician-wise?
Like famous musicians or just whoever?
Yeah.
Famous. I got to talk to her briefly, but I would love to collaborate with Kelly Clarkson. Oh, she's a sweetheart. Would love that.
Yeah. Do you watch her talk show at all?
I do. She has a great talk show.
Oh, I love it. It's honestly, I have to tell you, like that's what's gotten me through quarantine because her show is so uplifting and she has such a way with words and like she always starts each show by singing a song and it's so refreshing.
Very. I agree. Completely.
I could definitely see you collaborating with Kelly. That would be amazing.
Yes, I would love that. 100%. She's a sweetheart. She's amazing. Just talented beyond belief. That would be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite venue to go to this summer?
Again, like 37 Main, Eddie's Attic. I mentioned earlier, but those are my favorites. I would love to go to those this summer. Honestly, there's a place called Canopy in the Roots here in Georgia. They're a really cool underground venue, so that too. Just any underground places, I love them. Mm-hmm.
Someone says there's a place in Nashville where everyone sits in a circle and someone gets in the middle and would you do that? And then afterwards they go over what they think of you.
That sounds like fun. That sounds a little scary though. Oh my gosh, I would feel like I'm being judged. I'd be like, oh my gosh. I mean, not that I, haven't been judged before on The Voice, but like that would feel very, I don't know. I would probably, sounds like fun, but I'd be scared.
Yeah, scared. I've never heard of that either, but hey, why not, right?
Why not?
All right, guys, last chance for questions. Do you have any final words for the room?
Just thank you guys all for coming to listen. I mean, I was just rambling on. Thank you guys for listening. And thank you, Ashley, for having me. Like, oh my goodness. This was so much fun. I just had a lot of fun performing and talking. I love talking, as you can tell. I keep going.
Oh, thank you so much. Please feel free to come back on my show anytime. I love to stay in touch with my artists because they always have singles or collaborations or things that pop up. And I like to support the artists that are on my show because then I can say like, oh, episode 71, check it out. Check out the new single, this collaboration. I'd love to see the collaboration with Corey happen. So that would be amazing. Corey, if you're still in the chat.
It needs to happen. It needs to happen 100%. I mean, I'm always down to collaborate. Always.
I love it. That's so amazing. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for agreeing to be on my show, Caroline. This was a lot of fun. I appreciate your honesty. I love the fact that you just love good classic rock and you appreciate all genres of music. I think that's so important as a musician. So guys, if you don't already, please make sure to follow Caroline here on Instagram. Stream the music, support the live streams, the collaborations. Just support her. She's phenomenal. And if you don't already, guys, please make sure to follow me. I'm Ashley Live. This is Vibin with Ashley Live. And thank you guys so much for joining me on this beautiful Saturday evening. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.